Hey everybody, welcome back to Unlocking the Paradigm Portal. My name is Sarah and I am back bright and early this morning to keep the ball rolling on unearthing your true identity after breaking all the rules and flipping a very intentional middle finger to perfectionism. So yesterday we talked about what happens when the cage opens, the cage being perfectionism. And what happens when that perfectionism loosens its grip on you, and when the rules that once held everything together stop working, and when the bars you didn't even realize were there suddenly become visible. Now, for a lot of people, what comes next isn't relief right away, it's confusion. Probably with a hefty dose of fear, because once you stop following the rules, once you stop performing the role, once you stop managing yourself so tightly, a quieter, heavier question shows up. Who am I now? I mean, just do you hear the weight of that? Who am I now? You can't even say it without having this tone of confusion. So that question challenges who you've been trying to be, who you learned to be in order to stay safe. And it's time to figure out who you actually are. And that question can feel deeply unsettling because rules give structure. They give shape. They tell us where to stand, how to move, how much space we're allowed to take. That's why it becomes a cage. And when the cage opens, there's suddenly air and space and no walls telling you how to behave and how far you're allowed to go. And that freedom can feel disorienting before it feels liberating. So today, we're talking about identity, not as something you invent, not as something you hustle toward, but as something you remember. Most of us didn't grow up discovering our identity. We just assembled it. Makes me think of the little Lego kits that my son used to piece together following the instruction manual. And when I would give him just free Legos, it took a lot of practice for him to just build something without those instructions. It's the same thing. We learn as kids how to piece together our identity, cue by cue from everyone around us, and we learn who it was safest to be, whether it was the responsible one or the helper or the peacemaker or the achiever, or the one who doesn't ask for much, the one who doesn't rock the boat, the one who holds it all together, or in my case, the rebel and the black sheep. And these weren't personality traits. You were not born with all of this. You learned it. They were adaptations. They helped us stay connected. They help us avoid conflict. They helped us belong in environments where belonging felt conditional. And if you grew up in a space where love, attention, approval, or safety depended on behavior, then your identity became a strategy. So now I'm going to ask you to question, just for a second, think of who you have believed yourself to be for so long. Is that truly who you know you are at your core? Or is it still acting as a strategy to get by? That's a tough one, right? You may have learned things like, if I am a certain way, then things stay calm. Or if I do it right, then I won't be rejected. Or if I don't need much, then I won't be a burden. Or if I stay capable and I can handle everything, then no one will leave. But that's not identity. That's survival intelligence. And here's the part that matters. It worked. It worked beautifully until it didn't. And there's often a moment in healing where the roles stop fitting. You're doing all the right things. You're still showing up. You're still being competent. You're still being good. And yet, you feel empty, you feel disconnected, and you feel exhausted in a way rest doesn't quite touch. And you might catch yourself thinking, I don't know who I am anymore. Or I feel lost. Or I feel like something is missing, but I can't name it. And that can be utterly terrifying because the cage may be open, but it was familiar. It told you who to be. It told you how to survive. It told you how to earn your place. So here's the reframe that I want you to hold gently. Maybe even place a hand on your body as you hear it. You didn't lose your identity. You outgrew the version of yourself that was built to survive. And that version deserves respect and honor. And honestly, that version deserves rest. Real identity isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself with a mission statement. It doesn't demand certainty. And it doesn't arrive with a 5-year plan and a color-coded vision board. Although that would be super cool if it had a vision board. That would make things so much easier, wouldn't it? Real identity is quieter than that. And it shows up in the body, in the moments where your shoulders drop without you forcing them to. And you don't even have to think about it, where your breath deepens on its own, where something inside you softens instead of bracing. It sounds like pressure and it sounds less like pressure. Sorry, I said that wrong. It sounds less like pressure, although it actually may sound like pressure as you're thinking about doing this. And it feels more like a very quiet yes. So instead of asking, who am I supposed to be, or what should I do next? Because those are kind of big ones. Try notice something much, much simpler, much smaller. We're baby stepping it here. What brings relief instead of tension? Just give that a second to sink in. What feels grounding instead of impressive? What feels honest instead of correct? And think back on times where you've done things correctly, and I'm doing air quotes as I say that, and it wasn't true to you, but you did it right, but it still felt wrong. That's identity speaking, not in words, but in sensations, and not in labels, but in resonance. It resonates through you. You don't have to define yourself right now. You don't need a title. You don't need a polished answer ready for public consumption. You just need to notice where you feel most you, especially when no one is watching. And if identity feels fuzzy right now, or if the old labels don't fit and the new ones haven't arrived yet because the FedEx truck hasn't gotten here, that doesn't mean you're behind. It means that you're in transition. You're standing in the doorway. You are in the threshold, and the cage is behind you, and that open field is ahead, and the sun is shining there. And you're just letting your eyes adjust to the light. It's going to feel distorted. That's the word that keeps coming to mind. It's going to feel untethered. And remember, you're not rebuilding yourself. You're remembering slowly, gently, at the pace that your nervous system can tolerate. And later tonight, when I come back for round 2, we're going to talk about the next layer that often surfaces once your identity softens: your needs. This is my favorite conversation. And I will tell you, it is so much deeper than the basic human survival needs. Think things like comfort. For example, I'm sitting here in my bathrobe because it's cold and it's comfy to have this. And I have my mug of hot tea because that makes me feel soft and soothed. And pretty soon I'm going to hop under a fuzzy blanket and binge some more Big Bang Theory because that makes me feel soft and soothed and comfortable. So we're going to dive headfirst into your needs. It will be a bit longer because that's the most important thing for anyone to learn. And remember, once you stop performing, once you stop bracing, and once you stop managing yourself so tightly, your body will start speaking more clearly. And learning to listen to that subtle voice, that changes everything. Because identity isn't who you learn to be, it's who remains when you stop performing. And man, I want to know who you guys are once you stop performing. Actually, I would love to know both sides so I can see the change. It's amazing. So leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe. I've been hearing something about hype points. Don't even understand that yet, but like whatever that is, the important thing is just come back and keep diving into yourself. And I would love for you to be on this journey with me. So I will be back later. Have a wonderful day.